Hello, everyone, and welcome to our virtual student panel here as a part of GB Orientation. My name is Adam Novotny. I am a program coordinator here at UW Green Bay, and I work in the Office of Student Life. In my role as a program coordinator, I get to work with new student programs, so planning GB Orientation, GB Welcome. Also in my role, I get to work and supervise the student ambassadors, and we have a number of student ambassadors who are here today who are excited to tell you about their experience as a student at UW Green Bay and also answer your questions. So this is our final GB Orientation virtual student panel. We had two earlier this week, and each of these are being recorded. So if you missed any of the panels, you can feel free to go onto our GB Orientation website to be able to watch those, to see the ambassadors who are part of that, their experiences, and also the questions that they got and the answers that they gave. So as I mentioned, we have a few ambassadors who are here today to answer your questions. If you do have questions, in the top right of your screen, there should be a little speech bubble with a question mark. If you click on that, that's where your question and answer area should be, so you can submit your questions there. Like I said, we're here to support you so we can answer those questions. We know that this is a very challenging time for so many people, and there's still a bit of uncertainty in the air and things that are being finalized. So we are here to answer what we can, but also to let you know what that experience is and how we can support you. So as I said, we have a number of ambassadors here. I want to introduce one right away. She is one of our co-directors for our student ambassador team. Her name is Miriam Casper. So Miriam, take it away.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's student panel. As Adam said, my name is Miriam Casper. I am a senior from West Bend, Wisconsin, majoring in education with an emphasis in early childhood. Today, we have three of our amazing ambassadors, Ashton, Hannah, and Ben, here to answer any questions that you may have and kind of call on those nerves that you might be having about your first year at UWGB and in college. They are here to help your transition into your freshman year be a little bit smoother, and just kind of be here to help and support you guys today. So without further ado, I'm going to let them introduce themselves and we can be on our way.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashton. I'm a senior here at UW Green Bay. I'm originally from West Bend, Wisconsin, and I'm a double major in psychology and human development.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Bundy. I am a senior at Green Bay, originally from Wautoma, Wisconsin. I am majoring in business administration with an emphasis in marketing, and then I hope to graduate this upcoming spring.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ben Dresdo. I'm a junior at UWGB. I'm a major in psychology along with a minor in Spanish, pursuing my master's in sports performance and exercise psychology, and I hope to graduate in 2022.
Hi everyone, my name is Erica Kennard, and I am the other co-director of the University Student Ambassadors at UW Green Bay, and I'll kind of be moderating your guys' questions today. But a little bit more about me, I'm a junior from Menominee, Wisconsin, and I'm studying business administration with emphases in marketing and management and a minor in communications. So now that we've finished introductions, let's jump into questions. Hannah, Ben, and Ashton, we'll start with a simple one. What made you want to come to UW Green Bay?
So what made me want to go to UW Green Bay was that this is a smaller campus, I guess. So it feels like a closer community, and I really like being able to have that one-on-one with professors and just having more opportunities.
Yeah, what really drew me to the campus at first was when I first took a tour here back my junior year of high school. I took a lot of tours during that year just trying to get a feel for it, and I just felt kind of an instant connection when I was on the campus, and just getting a feel for the people there and the professors. I was able to meet a lot in the psychology program as well, and it just felt like the right fit, and I felt like it's been a great decision ever since.
Kind of piggybacking off of what Ben and Ashton said, it felt homey when I toured, and then also I like from coming from a small town, the campus kind of has this small town community feel to it, but you're also in the big city of Green Bay, so it's super fun being able to go out and explore a bigger city, but still being able to come back to campus and focus on your studies and get to interact with faculty and other students too.
What is your favorite memory at UW Green Bay?
So I have a lot of favorite memories, but one of my favorite was doing Battleship, which is, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people have heard about it, but I'll kind of describe what it is just in case you haven't. But it's an event that takes place in the Crest Event Center, and students are in groups of 4, and they have canoes that they bring into our swimming pool there. And then 2 people have paddles and 2 people have buckets, and you try to sink other people's canoes, and you try to get the water out of yours too to stay standing. And then if you flip over, if you kind of sink, then you're out. But I did that with a couple of friends this semester, and it was a super fun time. So definitely recommend doing that event for sure.
So as I was saying, one of my favorite events on campus is being able to give tours on campus. That's something I've loved doing ever since I was hired as an ambassador, just being able to connect with people, whether it's virtual now or in an in-person kind of situation. I just love that opportunity to kind of show people the campus and the things that I love about it, and just give you guys an opportunity to kind of make your own as you come into this campus.
So I have a couple too. I guess I'll just share 2 short ones. But I have joined a sorority here on campus. So pretty much anything doing that, getting involved in the community, doing community service, all that kind of stuff, and just getting to know the other girls has just been a favorite memory. But also doing my internships, I've had a lot of opportunities in that and getting, again, closer with the professors and other people on or in our community, I guess. And it's just, yeah, just building connections has been my favorite memory so far.
When is freshman move-in?
So freshman move-in is right now planned for August 28th and the 29th. And as the process goes forward, that's kind of tentatively what we're planning for right now, is for that week of the 28th and 29th for you to be able to come in and move into the dorms.
When do freshmen know if they've been assigned a random roommate?
You will know when who your roommate is within the next couple of weeks when housing sends out your rooming information. You can go onto my res link, which is on the housing website, and there should be a little link that says room assignment and roommates, and you can click on that and it should have your roommate's name and their email on there.
What would be your most important advice for freshmen?
I think bringing a planner and making sure that you stay organized is key, because it's just a different transition that you're going through. It's a lot different than high school, and I think just making sure that you're planning and staying organized will help you out.
I would say to definitely try and find your support system early. I think the biggest reason I was able to do well like earlier in the year, in the semester, was because I immediately found people that I connected with early and put myself out there during orientation or those events when I first came onto campus. I was able to connect with my roommate right away because we went to events together, and just going to all those different places, I met a lot of people in a lot of different facets of the university, and because of that, as I was able to go on, I learned those skills and I was able to connect with more people down the road. So I would say just find people that you can get a comfort level with early, and that'll help you further down the road.
I would say to try to get involved. So we have something called OrgSmorg, where they set up a bunch of booths for different organizations on campus. It can be kind of intimidating at first because you walk in, there's just a bunch of people standing there kind of staring at you. Definitely recommend just going around and talking to people. We have a lot of different organizations for different people's interests. There's some sports ones. There's quite a few that are specific to majors and minors too, which is really nice to get involved in. And I've met a lot of great people through organizations too, so that's a great way to find kind of a group of people that you enjoy being around and finding different friends too.
So a couple of you talked about getting involved on campus. So speaking on behalf of that, what clubs and organizations do you recommend joining?
Okay, so all of us here are student ambassadors. I definitely recommend getting involved in that, of course. It's a lot of fun to get involved again on the campus and just with incoming students, prospecting students, all of that. I'm also involved in a sorority, as I mentioned, so we do a lot of community service. And again, it's just kind of a good way to get to know people on and off campus and just create those connections. And then I'm also part of the Love Your Melon crew. So we get to do a lot of, again, volunteer work with pediatric cancer patients. And I also, like I mentioned, am a part of like different internships. So I did Camp Lloyd this year along with Ben. So maybe Ben can talk about this too. But we get to get involved in the community with that as well. So just a lot of getting involved is key.
For sure, I can definitely talk about Camp Lloyd. That's something I really enjoyed being a part of this past semester, and Ashton has been in it for 2 years now. And it's basically a camp that takes place in the summer, and we help with children who are dealing with bereavement or grieving in that process, and we are able to be buddies for them and be a support system for them as they go through that week, and just give them a really good, fun opportunity on the campus. And that's a really great thing to get involved in, especially if you're interested in the psychology or human development or even communications, any of those kind of fields, because you get a really good idea of how to communicate with people and with children especially. Another one that I'm a really big part of is Good Times programming. That is a programming organization on campus that plans a lot of student events and student activities for people to get involved with while they're on the campus. We are able to do in-person events and virtual events, and thanks to those opportunities, I've gotten to serve on some panels and some summits, and they're really exciting as well. And if you want to get kind of an in-depth kind of view of the things that go on behind the scenes when you're going to all these events, that's a great way to be part of the planning process too.
So along with being a student ambassador, I'm also on the board of CEO, which is the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization. I know when I first heard that name, I was like, whoa, what is that? But it's just basically a club where we try to help people with brainstorming ideas, as everyone is truly an entrepreneur. Whenever you say an idea or pitch for anything or presenting, you are an entrepreneur because you're the one who created that and made that up. And then the other thing, it's not necessarily an organization, but something I'm involved in is intramural sports. So I definitely recommend getting involved with that as well.
What is your favorite study and/or hangout spot on campus?
One of my favorite spots is the coffee shop. It can be like I like to be not in a quiet place, so I like to have, conversation in the background, music in the background, stuff like that. So it's just perfect. There's a lot of lighting in there, and it's just a calm, peaceful area that I can get a lot of work done there.
I really enjoy places too that have a little bit of background noise or just some people around. I feel like that helps me kind of be a little more productive than just sitting in silence. So I like going anywhere but my room, but one of my favorite places is the student union or the student lounge. I find that that's a place where there's just enough background noise, there's just enough people there that I can talk to or connect with. If I have a job or a tour going on that day, I can zip right there really quick as well. But that's just a place I can sit down for a couple hours and get some work done when I'm in between classes. And that I really enjoy the convenience side of that as well.
So I really enjoy studying in the library, and I like background noise when I'm doing certain things, but others, like let's say writing a paper, I need it to be dead silent. So there's actually quite a few study rooms that are throughout the library and on different floors. So I like going to different study rooms as well as maybe just hanging out in the other open study areas. They have some like little booths or tables that you can sit into. So I like going to the library.
Is it difficult to navigate around campus?
So when I came here freshman year, I walked around my classes like the day before, and as the ambassadors, we offer to walk with you guys during the welcome week throughout to kind of find your classes. So I think I did that once, maybe twice, just to kind of see where I was going in the general direction. And it took me no more than a week to get used to. So it's pretty easy once you know where you're going.
What is the best way to meet people and make new friends?
So the great thing about college is you're going to be around people pretty much the whole time, whether you're walking to your classes or going to different events around campus. So I just take those opportunities when you're in between to just kind of talk to the person next to you, the person that you're sitting down next to when you're going to classes, at least get to know your names and who the people are in your classes when you're talking to them. You want to get to know people better or people that even share similar interests to you. We have hundreds of organizations on campus that you can join that are related to classes or internships or connections that way, or even just some fun recreational activities. I actually met 2 of my roommates from doing intramural sports, and that was a great way to meet him and just do fun things together. And as we got to know each other more and more, we decided we want to live together. So it's really just, as soon as you put yourself out there, you're going to find that it'd be way harder to not make friends than to make friends.
What is one thing that you would tell freshmen to bring with them to school?
I already kind of mentioned this earlier, but a planner. I'm huge on organization and just keeping everything straight and written down and everything like that. So for me, a planner was the best thing to get me through my freshman year.
So I know this is kind of common sense, but definitely bring a bag or a backpack. You don't want to be carrying around like your books everywhere. That's just not going to be a fun time for you. So definitely pick out a bag or a cool backpack to bring to school and put all your stuff in and your snacks and other things like that.
Bring water, stay hydrated, that's all.
How would you describe the safety on campus?
So I'm not gonna lie, I am definitely a night owl. So I stay in the library pretty late, usually until they close, which is midnight in the library commons. And I walk back by myself, and I never feel threatened or unsafe. The other thing too is we do have campus police officers that are constantly patrolling. So I've had multiple times as I've been walking that they've actually stopped on the road and waited for me to get into my housing building. And then I see as I'm going up this stairwell that they drive away once I get in there. So, and I would say the scariest encounter I've had on campus would be with the wildlife. I sometimes like to take shortcuts. And once while doing that, a bunny came out of nowhere and like ran across me. So that scared me quite a bit, but that's probably the scariest thing I've encountered on campus.
How stressful is your class workload?
Well, I'd say stress is, in most cases, is something that you can kind of handle as you get to grapple with it. And biggest thing I find comfort-wise is kind of just handle my course load, especially if it's a semester that's a pretty high workload. It's just organizing yourself, organizing your time. If you can set aside certain times that you are able to do your work and get it done, and then set around time for your unwinding, whether it's going to the crest to work out, whether it's going to hang out with friends, or whether it's doing any of those type of things. So I say, even aside of organizing time, organize the spaces that you're doing that. If you're always doing your work in your room, you're going to associate sleep with work, and then you're going to have trouble sleeping. So as long as you can keep those things separate, you will have a better time kind of being organized and getting your classes done. So just kind of separate your space and your time, and you'll see that that helps with the stress side of things.
So as I mentioned, I'm a double major in psychology and human development. So my sophomore year, when I picked that, I kind of panicked. I thought I had to take 18 credits every semester, and the first semester I did. And like Ben mentioned, being organized and staying on top of things really helped me a lot. So I think as long as you know yourself and know how much you can handle, that should reflect in your coursework as well.
Going off of Ben and Ashton too, as long as you're organized, you'll be totally fine. If you're waiting till the last minute to do things, and if you're getting behind on schoolwork and you don't have things planned out, that's when it's going to be overwhelming and that's when it's going to be stressful. If you plan out when you're going to do certain things and make sure you're not waiting until the last minute, you'll be perfectly fine.
As a follow-up to that question, what are some of the best ways to study?
I think that definitely depends on like what the material might be. If it's like an anatomy course or a physiology course or just something like that that's might be very vocab heavy, I would say flashcards or just kind of memorization of all those terms and those keys and the terminology can really help you get a good grapple on it. One of my favorite things to do is to do practice quizzes or practice tests, because I find that when you practice with the information that you're going to be seeing on quizzes or exams, that gives you a really good idea of what things you might want to study. So especially as some of the courses you might have are virtual, that's a great resource that you can use. A lot of professors I had actually provided like practice quizzes or practice tests. And that was something that really helped me kind of seeing what kind of things I'd be tested on. And going forward, that was something that helped a really great deal.
I'm pretty old school, I guess, so I do a lot of pen and paper notes. I don't do anything really on the computer. That's just what works best for me, writing everything down. It just, I don't know, it just is easier for me to see it on the paper, and I can go back, look at it. Okay, this is what I studied in this section and that. So that's what's always worked best for me, is just rereading my notes and looking at the textbook and stuff like that.
So for me, I feel like it does depend on the class too. Like if it's more vocab than flashcards, but if it's more of concepts, I usually like meeting with a friend or a fellow classmate and kind of going back and forth and talking about the different topics that we discussed in class and going through your notes. And what I always do is if you can't describe or explain what you're learning, then you probably haven't like learned it fully. So try to go over and have a discussion and find different ways that you and the other person can remember the information or relate it maybe to your life so you can remember it better too.
Now I have a two-part question for you guys. First part is, how was your transition to online classes in the spring? And second part is, how helpful were your professors during this time?
Honestly, I was pretty amazed by our professors because we had a week spring break, and then that's when we went online and we came back and we were in full swing online. All of my professors did an awesome job emailing me and the other students about what was going to happen, what the format was going to look like. They were doing checkup emails too to say, hey, how is the information going? Like, are you getting it? Do you need any help? They offered to like Zoom or FaceTime or call or even text or email as well. So honestly, the transition was pretty smooth. It is different at first. A lot of my professors still had our class time slot, but we had it on Zoom, which I really enjoyed because I still got to see all of my classmates that I had usually seen in person. And then I could talk back and forth with my professors too, which I really enjoy. So it was pretty smooth for me overall.
Yeah, to kind of follow up on what Hannah said, I would definitely say that when professors kind of kept those time slots, that was something that really helped me as well, is that as I was kind of restructuring the day and kind of shifting to a new setting where I was doing all these courses, having a time set aside, where was it Zoom meetings or classwork, I would do it at those specific times. And that was something that the professors helped a lot with as well, just kind of doing that. So kind of restructuring your day for virtual content and keeping it kind of similar to whatever your schedule would have been like had you been going to classes anyways. So like, for example, I'd wake up in the morning, get some Post-it notes and put out my stuff that I'd do for the Ambassadors or GTP. Let's say I had a course at 9:30, I would sit down and work on that for 90 minutes. And then just going about your day from there and kind of keeping a balance of everything as well, and just, keeping everything where it needs to be.
How are online classes typically set up?
So I know Hannah mentioned that like some professors did Zoom meetings. I actually didn't have any professors who did that. A lot of them did like a weekly tab. So they would like write out a to-do list, say you need to do this lesson and this, whatever activity to do with that lesson. And so I had to do that every single week to kind of go along with that. But they were always available for Zoom or email, text, call, whatever. So yeah, it was a little bit more of, I had to do a lot of the structuring, I guess, rather than Zoom being set up during that class time. So that's my personal experience, but it was different for them too.
Is there free academic tutoring, and is it effective?
So yes, we do have free tutoring at the Learning Center. It is definitely effective too. I was actually human bio before business, so I went for chemistry and a nat and phys and some other classes like that. And so the tutors are usually students that have gone through that class that did exceptionally well, and so they help other students. So I got different studying tips from them. Actually got note cards from one of them that they already had and let me borrow. So I definitely say it's worth doing. You just call and set up an appointment, so it's super easy. They also have the writing center, which helps you in any step of your writing process for like an essay or paper. So I've gone in after I wrote a paper, and then I've actually gone in before I even started because I had no clue how to really start it or what the flow should have been for my paper. So they're super useful with any type of paper for any class as well.
How large are your classes on average?
So as far as class sizes go at Green Bay, the biggest one that I've ever had is 50, and that's kind of like the biggest class that you're going to have across the board at the GB campus. So my psychology courses or maybe some gen eds might have been that large, whereas I'm also a Spanish minor, so those classes I might have had as few as like 10 or 11 people. And I find with both of those, the common trend of it is how accessible the professors are and kind of talking with them. I always recommend sitting in one of the front 2 rows because just kind of seeing that professor, looking at them eye to eye every day, you kind of get a feel for them, and you will not only do better in that class, but if there's internships or things like that available, if they know who you are and what you're looking for, then you'll be able to find those opportunities a lot easier. I never would have found out about Camp Lloyd had I not had a good relationship with the professor that kind of pointed me that direction. And so as far as class sizes go, even if it's one of those bigger ones, professors are accessible in their office hours as well. So you can, and they'll be in there at the same amount of time that they're in their classes as they are in their offices. So you can meet with them those ways as well.
Do you guys have any tips for the first day of class?
So first, I just sit in the front 2 rows. Psychologically speaking, there's a study that showed if you sit in the front 2 rows, you actually have a better chance to retain information. And as I mentioned, you'll be able to get to know your professors as well. Another thing, just get to know the person that's sitting on either side of you, because those are going to be people that might be your friends down the road that might provide you some notes if you miss class one day, or they might just be a friend or a resource for you if you need to study or you're having trouble with material. So as long as you connect with your professors and the students around you, that's the best advice I can give.
I got it now. Thanks, guys. I would say to leave early for your class because sometimes you may get lost in the beginning. I wouldn't say that we have a super complex format with our buildings, but again, it's a new area, it's a new space, so just leave early when going to classes.
What kind of options does the Cloud Commons have for food, and what other dining options do we have on campus?
So the Cloud Commons, it's more of like a buffet style, I suppose. So when you walk in, you swipe your ID. So it's not necessarily what you pay for like on your plate. You just come in and it's like an all you care to eat, I guess. So there's a couple different options for you. There's like you can create your own wrap or sandwich. There's a rotating hot entree. There's the global kitchen. And what else? There's a salad bar. I mean, there's just a ton of different options at any time of the day. I think there's dessert and like cereal all the time for you in there. There's also the G8 station. So it's free of the top 8 allergens, milk, soy, nuts, all that, which is completely separate from everything else. And that's the same price as you would pay for anything else in there, which I think is really cool. And they always have really delicious like vegetables and chicken there. They just ask that you go there first. So there's no contamination. And then as far as other dining options, there's like the sub shop. So you can like create your own sub. We have the Green Bay Grill. So there's like chicken tenders and burgers and fries. The Phoenix Club is like a concession style. So there's plenty of options all over the campus.
Do students typically live on campus after their freshman year?
Well, I'm going into my senior year and I'm still living here. So yes, a lot of people do. We offer private bedroom apartments. So I think that kind of keeps a lot of people on campus. It's very convenient living here. You don't have to drive to and from class. So yeah, just having the private bedroom. It's 4 bedrooms. There's a living room, a kitchen, and a bathroom. So keeps a lot of people staying here on campus, I think.
I'm a senior as well and will be living on campus. So again, some people do choose to live off campus and prefer that. I prefer being on campus because then I can just get up, roll out of bed, go to class, go get food, hang out with people, and I'm right there. Also, I don't like driving in the winter, so that freaks me out. So I like being on campus and just walking.
Another great kind of incentive for living on campus is as you progress with your credits and as you build up credits, as you progress through the years, you'll have an easier time moving into the apartments, the traditional apartments or the contemporary apartments. So keep your credit loads up, and if you do plan on staying on campus, because then as you build that up, you'll be able to kind of upgrade from the freshman dorms into some trad apartments, and then further from there, you'll be able to get into the contemps as well.
Can one of you explain the 4 T's and why they make campus so special?
All right, so our 4 T's are Tunnels. So we have tunnels going from our academic building. So once you're in one building, you can just go throughout the tunnels to the other buildings, which is really nice when it's raining or if it's snowing, because you don't have to rebundle up after every class and then go to a different building. Then we have trees, so we have a lot of nature around our campus, which is really nice. I feel like personally it kind of grounds me and centers me. I like being around nature. And then we have teachers, so our professors are super awesome. They get to know students on a personal level. I guess one quick little story too. So for a few of my professors, they have us do name tags. And with that, eventually we forgot to put out our name tags, and I didn't really understand why we had to do name tags in the first place. But then I realized later on that they'd be like, oh, hey, Hannah, like, how's it going? Are you understanding the material? And I was like, oh, okay, like, now they know me on a personal level, like, they know my name, and it just makes you feel like you're more connected with them. And then our last one, so tunnels, trees, teachers, toilets. Oh, so in all of our housing, you will have your own bathroom. Even as a first-year student on our residence halls, you have a toilet and a shower and a sink in there, which is pretty cool.
What are some of your guys' favorite spots off campus to go to?
Okay, so one of my favorite spots to go off campus is a local coffee shop. I love Kavarna. There's a ton of them around here. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I really like the background noise of just people talking or music to study. So I like going there and just getting a lot of work done.
So coming from a smaller town, the thing that really blew me away was kind of the restaurant scene and just like the things that you can do when you go down into Green Bay. So another one that's really good that's on a college budget is right on University Avenue, Legend Larry's. So it's got some wings and some appetizers, and it's really good, really cheap wings. That's probably the best wings that I've ever had is right at that place right there. Otherwise, you can go down to Lambeau area, and we have a whole like renovated area that's been put on by the Green Bay Packers. There's ice skating rinks there for the winter time. There's a bunch of different outdoor games and more of your scenes that you can check out for the warmer months. There's sledding hills. There's just a whole bunch of stuff down there to do. That's pretty cheap too. It's just a kind of a fun thing. You can go out some nights and go ice skating or just do something fun for a couple nights.
How should students expect to get around if they don't have a car on campus?
So as a first-year student, I chose not to bring a car to campus, and I usually just carpooled with friends or my roommate too. We also do have free bus passes for students, so you can take those to different locations as well.
What is the campus scene like on weekends? Do students stick around or go home?
So for me personally, I'm a server, so I work every weekend, so I'm always here. But a lot of my friends are also always here. Just a choice, I think. It's fun to stay here over the weekend. Like Ben mentioned, there's a lot to do downtown in the Green Bay area. So it's kind of nice to have like a break from classes and also just be able to go out and have fun, go eat at a restaurant, stuff like that. So for me and my friend group, a lot of people do stay here.
I would agree with what Ashton said. I live about 3 hours away anyways, so when I'm in Green Bay, I'm pretty much staying up there for good. And just the nice thing about that is you spend the whole week, kind of work on your classes, going through a pretty busy schedule. So there's just something nice about sleeping in on Saturday morning, waking up, watching some TV or something, and then going out about your day, doing something fun with your roommates or whatever. And yeah, it's just kind of a good way to unwind versus driving home and then driving all the way back if you were going to go down for a weekend. So that's a decision I make and a lot of other students make as well, because there's also a lot of events that go on throughout the weekends. GB Nights is a super fun one where you typically theme out the whole union. We've done like a Stranger Things theme, a SpongeBob theme, and there's games, kind of events, and free food, free ice cream, karaoke, all those fun things as well. Just another great way to get out and just have fun for a little while.
Do a majority of students work on campus or off campus?
So like I mentioned, I am a server, so I do work off campus. I work at a restaurant that's maybe like 10 minutes away from campus. But I also do have on-campus job, of course, student ambassadors. So I kind of have both. It's a nice way to balance in between classes. Like I can give tours in between my classes or before classes that day, and then work at night at my restaurant job. So that's how I like to do it. It's just a nice little, I can, balance it, I guess.
Yeah, to kind of speak on the on-campus jobs, I'd say that pretty much every area of campus has employment opportunities for students. For example, if you're into the tech side of things, you can work at tech support over in informational sciences. If you want to help with students or admissions, you can go into the student ambassador route. If you want to help plan events, you can go with the Good Times programming. You can work at the Crest Event Center, and you can work with the athletic facilities or be a personal trainer or a class instructor, or you can be a TA and you can work directly with your professors. So pretty much every area of campus has an avenue you can explore for kind of that on-campus opportunities to work.
How accessible and helpful is health services?
So GP just got a new partner for on-campus health that's being provided by Prevea Health Services now, which they're going to expand upon the services that they provide for students. It's really accessible for any students to go down there. You can see a nurse, you can see a counseling psychologist, or they even got a massage therapist employed over down in the health services as well. And the way that they do those services is they're only going to charge you whatever it costs to provide that service. So say you were employed and you need a tuberculosis test, it's only going to cost you $1 because that's how much it costs for them to administer it. So not only is it really affordable, but it's available for all students to use. One time playing some intramurals, I hurt my shoulder pretty bad. It was real sore, so I just went down there and scheduled an appointment, and they were able to tell me that I separated it a little bit. So versus going to a doctor or nurse, that would have cost me almost $100 to go see that. It costs me nothing, and I just put a sling on it for about a week, and I was good to go.
Is there anything that you wish you would have done differently in order to improve your experience at UW Green Bay?
I wouldn't say there's a lot of things that I'd like to change, because I think when people go into certain situations, especially when they're new situations, you don't know exactly how you're going to react. So you can't be too hard on yourself. But one thing I would say is getting involved, because I was pretty intimidated at first with going into an organization or doing something. I didn't know if I was going to necessarily fit in or how it would be. And I was pretty anxious and like worried about that. But once you do get involved and talk to other people, you realize how similar you are to other people and that you're not the only one feeling that way. So I'd say just more so getting involved earlier on, like freshman, sophomore year.
Yeah, that's kind of a good question, because as I look at where I'm at now, I'm really happy where I am in campus, and that makes me feel good. And I feel like it's the decisions I've made up to that point. But almost looking back, I feel like it was a train of when I came on campus, kind of getting involved. It's like a little bit of momentum building, like I'm going down a hill. So you start out kind of slow, and then you're going fast, trying to get involved with everything. But if I look back at it now, I would say, like, I wish they would have just let me be an ambassador my first day on campus, but stuff like that. But otherwise, it's just kind of building up and getting experience and just kind of getting a feel for what you want to be. Because as you come into campus, like, I was the only person from my school or from my town to come here, so I didn't know anybody. So I was kind of glad I didn't act like a deer in the headlights, and I kind of went around and tried to get to know people. So I would say I wouldn't change that part of it.
All right, so this is my last question for you guys. As we enter the fall 2020 semester, what are you guys most looking forward to?
So this will be my senior year, so I'm super excited to go back in fall. Always my favorite things are to get back involved and see all of the people that I've missed over the summer. So I'm really excited for that. And also I'm just excited to do my capstone and kind of start finishing up and wrapping up my time here at GB. That's kind of sad to say, but I'm also really excited to just kind of get started, I guess.
There's a lot of things I'm excited for. Obviously, being away from the campus for kind of an extended amount of time, I just find myself missing my friends and my community more and more. I'm really itching to go back. I feel like every day I wake up, I'm just like, I really just want to be up there, and I'm just excited for that continuing to build. As far as the class side of things, I get to take my sports psychology class this upcoming semester. So that's going to be my first step towards my master's program. So I'm really excited to see what that's going to be in store. And just kind of diving into some new jobs on campus, and I feel like I was satisfied with how involved I was, but now that was kind of shifted a bit and I was sent back home, when I come back, I want to do even more just to make up for lost time almost. And yeah, I'm just like really excited for this upcoming year.
So I'd say the same as Ashton and Ben again. So just getting back on campus and getting to see the A team in person, and then also see my roommates is probably what I'm most excited about.
So that's all the questions that we have for this session. Thank you, students, for all of your awesome questions, and thank you, Hannah, Ben, and Ashton, for all of your amazing answers. I'll pass it over to Miriam to conclude this session.
Okay, thank you all so much for attending our session today. We are so excited to have you on campus for GB Welcome. If you have any more questions or concerns, please feel free to email either any of Ashton, Ben, or Hannah, or your GB Welcome ambassador. They are all here to support you and help you through your transition into freshman year and throughout your college career. Their ambassadorship does not end after you get onto campus, so make sure you're reaching out to them. Another great idea is to reply all to that original email that they sent, as well as attend those meetings that they have set up for you. It's a great way to get to know everybody else that's in your group, especially since you'll have a class with them, because everybody that's in your group is going to be in your first year seminar. So it's a great way to get to know people right away, and you'll have familiar faces or names when you come onto campus in fall. Like I said, we're here to support you guys. If any more questions or concerns come up, please reach out. We're more than happy to help, and we hope you have a great day and see you at GB Welcome.